It looks like he's a sideline, but he turns into the
main line.
The main line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? As this goes, which is one of God's favorite stories.
All right. Welcome back to the Chinook podcast. We are again with all y'all. And
You sounded positively Southern there.
I tried.
All
I really
y'all.
did. I tried. I think that North and South are just, because we live on a sphere, they're the same thing.
Ah, yes, I guess so.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I'm so far behind, I think I'm ahead. Anyway, welcome to this week's episode. My name is Brad Donovan. I'm an elder here at Christ Covenant Church in Grand Prairie, and I'm joined again by Jamie Souls and Nathan Zekveld.
Yes, it is our intention today to see how far we can get in the Joseph stories in Genesis. That's where we're heading.
Yes.
But on our way there, let's do some book reviews. You have something going on there, Brad.
I do. I have a book in my hand. A book that I have read, oddly enough, Fidelity, What It Means to Be a One-Woman Man by Doug Wilson. I recommend this one. It's a good one. There's a lot of good...
excellent book.
Excellent, solid, biblical, sexual counsel. He's got chapters on lust and pornography, fornication, adultery, divorce, prostitution, rape, polygamy, sodomy, masturbation, celibacy, and a whole pile of other things, including an appendix with a question and answer section. Doug Wilson just has a pile of biblical wisdom in here. This is a good book for a young man to read through and to take to heart.
Good.
This is something that I'll be going through with my boys when they get to an age where it is necessary.
All right. Well, let me tell you a brief tale as I introduce the book that I am recommending. The book is a very widely read kids book called The Prisoner of Azkaban, a Harry Potter book.
Aha.
One of those.
Isn't Harry Potter evil?
Clearly.
Well, yes. Yes. Like all of us, right?
That's a good point.
Right. I remember back when I was a young father, I had a crowd of little kids in my house. The oldest, my daughter Timbrel, I think, was 12. Zion was probably 10. Somewhere in that range. And we were steadfastly against reading Harry Potter. And we were that way because we'd heard that it was about witchcraft, and because we'd heard that it was about, well, we don't want our kids to become witches, and
Clearly.
And so
that makes sense.
we stayed away from it. Now there was we had a neighbor girl at the time. I think she was 10 or 11, somewhere just in between Timbrel and Zion, and she was this bright blonde 11-year-old, just and had a great time with Timbrel and Zion. They would play together a lot, and she would want to play Harry Potter stuff, and they would say, "Well, we don't know Harry Potter stuff." And well, how come you don't know Harry Potter stuff? Well, Dad won't read it to us, and and she said, "Well, why not? Well, go ask him." Yeah. Well, she did go ask me.
Oh.
She came to me and asked me, "Well, why don't you read your kids Harry Potter stuff?" And I explained to her my reasons, and I said, "Well, I don't want my kids to grow up wanting to be witches and so forth." And she said, "Well, the books aren't like that." She said, "They're just really good stories, Mr. Souls, and you should read it. Here's what I'll do. I'll lend you my book of The Prisoner of Azkaban, and you read it yourself, and then let's talk."
Oh, you got owned by a 12-year-old.
I got owned.
Nice.
Yes. Well, what do? You know,
It's good to get owned by a 12-year-old every now and
yeah,
then.
it is. So you, what do you do with this? You don't want to lose friends by just refusing.
Yeah.
So I accepted this, and the book sat on the shelf for like 3 weeks, and I eyed it. And
Suspiciously.
I finally decided I really should read it. And what I found was this, it really was a good story. Very good story. I found the things that were prized in this weren't witchcraft. It was loyalty. It was faithfulness. It was a whole bunch of things that are good, godly ends are what is being prized and held up as this is good. I also learned that you couldn't become a witch if you wanted to. You couldn't in Harry Potter because it's a
foreordained thing.
It's a foreordained thing, right? Yeah. It's all laid out, and if you're a Muggle, you're not in. Yeah. Okay,
it's almost like predestination.
Yeah. So, anyways, I fell in love with this book. I thought this is just great, and I started hitting the garage sales that were going on in my town, and I picked up the first 4 books, and then I started reading them all to the kids. And Harry Potter is deep in our soul's lore.
It's good storytelling.
Yeah, it's very good.
I wouldn't know because I haven't read them.
Well, I have a funny story about reading them. And this goes back to before I was born. Somebody went and lived with my parents for a while on one condition. Do you remember this?
I vaguely remember this story.
Yeah,
actually, I remember it quite well.
Yeah, so do tell.
Oh, well, I was 18, and Brad's mother is my sister Peggy, older sister, and I came to live with them for a summer, and I was looking for work in their town, and Mike told me, as long as you don't have a job, what you really need is an education. And so he handed me The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, which I had never read to that point. He said, as long as you're staying here, you need to read these. Get up and running.
So then, many, many, many years later, I moved to Grand Prairie looking for work. And so I have to, find a place to stay. And Jamie offered me a room, and so I moved in. On the condition that I read Harry Potter. Turnabout's fair play. So I read them all, yeah. And my kids certainly enjoy them as well.
Well, my book for today is a book by Nelson D. Closerman. The Latin name is Scandalum Inforum et Communio Sanctorum or something like that. So the scandal of infirmity and the sanctified community, and the English title is The Relationship Between Christian Liberty and Neighbor Love. And so it's a very thorough overview of various theologians in church history who talked about Christian liberty all the way from one of the church fathers, and then you had Aquinas and Calvin and a number of other theologians who talked about Christian liberty. And it's a really interesting book. It's definitely very academic, but it's definitely bringing me to think deeply about what exactly Christian liberty looks like in the church, how Christians can bear with one another in love without the stronger brother giving up his liberty or the weaker brother
giving up his conscience.
Giving up his conscience, yeah. So there's a lot of, and it's really interesting to see how the different theologians just tried to work through all the finer details of that issue.
That does sound interesting.
And it's especially intriguing to me in light of the COVID years and just thinking through, okay, how could Christians have dealt with differences over scientific matters in a better and healthier way? So,
right. Interesting.
Yeah. Good.
Interesting.
I remember that man.
Yeah.
Nelson Closterman.
Yeah, he used to be a professor at Mid-America.
I met him a couple of times.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Well, let us proceed. We are
slow crawling through Genesis.
Yes, we're holding fond dreams of trying to make our way through Joseph in one shot.
I have no faith.
I wonder if that's a dream.
I tried to convince Brad and Jamie, but they weren't convinced that.
I'm not convinced because we have to start off in chapter 36.
Well, and then we need to spend basically 50 minutes talking about socialism and chapter 50.
Oh, yeah. Well, there is a whole bunch of stuff coming up later like that, right?
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff in here. So I don't think we're covering this in one.
No, well, let's get at it.
Let's start and see where we finish.
Yeah, okay. So chapter 36 of Genesis is a chapter that is full of genealogical information, particularly from Esau. Mm-hmm. And we look at this, us moderns, and we say, what on earth is that doing there?
It's clearly important because God put it there.
Yes, it's clearly important because God put it there. So this is one of these passages in which the chapter divisions are not helpful. Okay? Chapter divisions were introduced into biblical texts somewhere in the early Middle Ages, I believe.
The chapter divisions are not inspired.
Yeah, they're not inspired. They were introduced in the early Middle Ages. The verse divisions was sometime after the Protestant Reformation when that started happening. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Here and there, I do find chapter divisions helpful for constructing sermons, but you do have to be careful, like when writing sermons, that you don't just do your cutoffs where the where the editors have done their cutoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in my Bible reading with my family around the dinner table, I won't always stop on those chapter divisions because arguments continue.
Yes, you really want to tell the story.
Yeah,
you gotta lay back on chapter and verse divisions.
So, sometimes it's helpful just for a cutoff point, but
and for referencing, like
Well, this is one of those kind of points. Chapter 36 in Genesis starts out with, these are the generations of Esau, that is, Edom. And then it goes through all this stuff about Esau, and you wonder why it's there, but then you see the first verse in 37. Jacob lived in the land of his father's sojournings, in the land of Canaan. So there's a whole chapter of information on Esau, on all his children, his wives, the development that came downstream from him, and you find some interesting things in that stream. Guys like Jobab, the son of Zerah.
Who might Jobab be?
Who might be like Job. He might be the Job that we know in the book of Job. That's quite possible. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's a comparison. Because Jacob lived in the land of his father's sojournings in the land of Canaan.
Yeah, that verse 1 belongs in 36.
He's got nothing going on. Esau's got all this stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Jacob doesn't.
Yep.
Okay? And there's a point to this. The Lord, a number of times in Genesis, had precursors to what was coming later. Okay? This happened a number of times. For instance, at one point, Abraham is told about his brother Nahor, and the Nahor's wife and children are enumerated, and lo and behold, there's 12 of them. Okay, there's a guy. He's got 12 sons. Okay, and comes Ishmael. Ishmael comes along. Ishmael has 12 sons that are listed out, and Isaac's got like 2, right? And so you get this contrast. You get, and it's not just a contrast; it's a foreshadowing of what is supposed to come. When the patriarchs are looking at blessing, you know, that's one of the things they're looking at. They're looking at, well, look at
Nahor,
all those children, and look, all those children they have, and I've got like nothing.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's something that God is building in this part of the Bible.
There's also a pile of really good baby names.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, base math. That's a good one.
Husham.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Husham.
Husham.
I want to meet somebody that names their kid a Holy Bama.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah, that's what I want to meet.
Yeah. Or Zepho.
It's too close to Obama.
That's true. So, yeah, the Lord is setting up this, like you said, a contrast, but also a foreshadowing. I really think chapter 36 should end at 37 verse 1.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because you've got, these are the generations of Jacob, which is the same phrase as these are the generations of Esau. And that phrase, these are the generations of, is a framing marker.
Yeah, it's a framing marker.
Yeah. And it's used earlier in Genesis as well.
Toledoth.
But it's that's what the technical name is. It's funny to me, though, because you've got this list of all of Esau's descendants, right?
Yeah.
And Jacob lived. Yeah. And here's Jacob. He's a sideline. Yeah.
It looks like he's a sideline, but he turns into the
main line.
The main line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? As this goes, which is one of God's favorite stories.
Yes.
That seems to be the case. The one that's overlooked, usually the second
is the thing.
born, is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
And we see that again in Christ, right? He's the second Adam. He's the new Israel.
Yeah.
The church is the new Jerusalem. It's the second, the overlooked, the gospel to the Gentiles.
Yeah. Okay, let's consider Joseph.
Yes, Joseph.
Joseph, this son of Jacob, we determined before Jacob was 90 years old when Joseph was born. We had figured that out from some of the genealogical information we're given. And here he is 17. Okay, he was probably 6 or 7 when they left Paddan Aram. So this has got to be 10 years later.
Yep.
When this takes place.
And it says right here in verse 2 that he was a boy with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah.
Yes.
So they're all about the same age-ish. They're close.
Yeah, they're right in that range.
I just remember reading this story as a kid and thinking about if I ever said that to my siblings, how arrogant they would think I was.
Yeah. like talking about the dreams, you mean?
Yeah, talking about the dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joseph started off by bringing a bad report. So first off, he's a bit of a rat, right? So, but
He was very much a youngest sibling.
But judging from the story, he had justification.
Yeah.
Or if you look at it from his dad's point of view, is he a rat?
Yeah. Or is he a good manager?
Or is he a good manager?
Yeah. Maybe he's giving an honest assessment of the situation, and that's kind of how I see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do tend to get on Joseph's case and say, well, what a
Yeah.
nasty little boy he was.
How dare he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we do that kind of thing, which may or may not be justified.
I think judging from what happens in the story, I
Yes.
think it's justified.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, part of the thing that just irks us so bad is this thing about the coat.
Right. Okay. The coat.
That Jacob makes for Joseph this coat, and he doesn't do it for any of his other sons. And we cry favoritism, and we cry all these kind of things that are bad, like favoritism. You know, that's one of the things that is commonly drawn from this passage.
Right.
Don't show favorites.
But then we would be agreeing with the brothers.
But then we'd be agreeing with the brothers. That's exactly right.
Now the text does say that Jacob did love him more than all of his brothers.
It does say that.
Yep.
So there does seem to be, I don't think it's the main point of the story, but there does seem to be a aspect of favoritism there.
Think about this.
What if it's merited?
Think about this.
That's true. That's a good point.
God has blessed me more than all my companions with the oil of
Gladness. Yes.
Beyond all of them.
Or
Think about God setting up the Lord Jesus and saying, "This is my son.
Yes.
I have set my son on the holy hill," and we could just as easily there cry
favoritism.
favoritism.
Yeah.
I think the Joseph thing is a picture of what God did with Christ later.
Yes.
I think that happens again and again.
Yep. And the thing is I think it's a merited favoritism because Joseph is the good manager.
Well, and Joseph does seem to be more godly than the rest of his brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
More righteous.
Now we
Godly and capable.
yeah, godly and capable.
And
yeah.
capable. That's important.
Yeah.
Remember, everything that Joseph touches
Yeah.
flourishes.
Except for his freedom for a time, but we'll get there.
It's not just a matter
Yeah.
of God extraordinarily blessing this self-important little kid.
Right. He's capable.
I think it's because he's really, really capable. That's why Jacob puts him in charge.
And Potiphar later.
And Potiphar later.
And Pharaoh even later.
And Pharaoh later yet.
Yes.
He gets put in charge of stuff because he's omnicompetent.
Yeah.
Well, there seems to be a chaos among his older brothers, and it does seem that he is a young man who is striving to be righteous.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so if he is 17, then Reuben is probably 23. Mm-hmm. And the bulk of those boys, they're 23 down to 13, 14 for the youngest.
Yeah, I think that's a
Somewhere in
pretty
there.
fair range.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
And Joseph is somewhere in the midst of it.
So then he has a dream, and his brothers hated him even the more.
Yes.
That's marvelous.
Joseph the dreamer. There's another Joseph later on who becomes a dreamer.
Yeah, he does. And where does he go because of his dreams?
To Egypt.
To Egypt.
He does.
What is with these dreaming Josephs in Egypt? I don't know. Are you seeing is it a conspiracy? I think it's a conspiracy. It's a divine conspiracy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Jacob hears these dreams. Mm-hmm. And the sons get really chuffed about the first one. And they're cranky about it. Are you indeed to rule over us? Are you to reign over us? And they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. And then he dreams another dream. Mm-hmm. And this one has, behold, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me. And when he told it to his father and to his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream that you've dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers indeed come and bow ourselves to the ground before you? And his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the saying in mind. That reminds me of something too.
Yeah.
And Mary pondered things in her heart.
Another thing that here's another point that isn't often noted. He says, behold, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me. Mm-hmm. How many stars were there in Israel at this time?
10.
10.
Besides Joseph, there were 10.
There were 10. So
I think Jacob...
That's what he was pondering.
Was pondering that.
There's another son coming.
Is there really another son?
Yeah, I think so because the math don't add up.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah.
So, and Jacob, I think, would have pondered it in his heart because he probably sees that dream as a possibility that God was speaking to Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which God was speaking to Joseph in that dream.
And Jacob does, he's had dreams himself where God has spoken to him. So he recognizes this. The brothers are just getting mad.
Yeah.
They recognized what the dream meant.
Yes, and it didn't look good for them because they're bowing down. They don't want to bow down.
Yeah. And that right there, I think, is the heart of the conflict between Joseph and his brothers right there.
Yeah.
Is that they don't want to bow down to God's will.
Yeah.
So, but Jacob, he keeps this in mind, like Mary, or Mary like Jacob.
Or Mary like Jacob.
Mary like Jacob.
Yeah, that's really it.
Mm-hmm. So now they go to pasture the flock near Shechem. So they're taking the flock back to that city they plundered a while ago.
No, they're not. They're taking their flock back to that place that they first arrived back at when they came from Paddan Aram.
Yeah.
Okay. They came from Paddan Aram. They went first to Shechem and they set up there for a while.
Yep.
But then they moved elsewhere.
After chapter 34.
But this is 10 years later.
Right.
And Joseph is still present
Right. And so 34 comes after
34 comes after this.
Yeah.
34 happens later, long after Joseph is gone. Because if Joseph is 17 here, which we're told in the text, Dinah can't be more than 12.
Exactly.
She's probably 11 or 12 at this time, but I'm sure she's older than that
Later
in 34.
Yeah. So that's a good point to note.
Okay, so they can safely go to Shechem.
Yep.
They're not in anybody's bad books.
That's right. And they're not together with the rest of the family.
Right.
Because Joseph and Israel and all the stuff are back somewhere else.
Yep.
And the flocks are over by Shechem. So they can safely move apart from each other.
Yes, and they're not going to arouse the ire of any of the nations around saying, "Oh, you killed all our neighbors."
Yep.
Because that hasn't happened at this point.
So then Israel sends Joseph to go and inspect.
Yeah. Who do you send to inspect things?
Somebody in charge.
Somebody competent.
Yes. Somebody that can judge correctly. This reminds me of Jesus' parable about the master with his son in the vineyard.
Okay.
Where he sends off a manager gets killed.
Yeah.
I'll send my only son, they won't harm him.
Yeah, Jesus surely had this story in mind.
Yeah, and so did his audience.
Yeah, and they knew it too.
Yeah.
And they resented it.
Yeah, they did.
When Jesus is speaking about this.
Oddly enough, just like the words of Joseph are resented, the words of Jesus, where he's like, I'm the new Joseph, equally resented. So he goes down. He's told, go now, see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring me word. So he went into the valley of Hebron, comes to Shechem, and he finds a man wandering in the fields. So it makes me wonder how many men wander in fields back then. But at any rate, he finds a guy wandering in the field. He says, hey, have you seen them? My brothers. He said, oh, yeah, they went that way, down to Dothan. Okay, so Joseph goes to Dothan. And when his brothers saw him from afar, and before he came near to them, they conspired against him to kill him. So they saw him coming, and they were like, he's way over there. Let's have a little powwow. We'll kill him.
Yeah.
And there's Joseph just ambling along.
Sauntering along.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah. So they strip him of his coat when he comes near, and they toss him in a pit.
Right. And this is largely at the instigation of Reuben. He's like, don't kill him.
Reuben tells him to toss him in the pit, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because they say,
second.
come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. And then we'll say a fierce animal has devoured him. But when Reuben heard it.
Yeah, Reuben is trying to deliver him.
Yeah.
So there's really angry words going on here, but Reuben isn't participating right yet in these angry words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reuben shows himself to not be a strong character. He's weak, he's malleable, he's pushable.
Yes.
Okay. Now he doesn't seem to be present when they're saying, "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of the pits," and then we'll say a fierce animal's devoured him. But when Reuben heard it,
so
he walked in on this. He rescued him out of their hands. Don't take his life.
just toss him in the hole.
Just toss him in the hole. And he said that, well, thinking that he might rescue him later and restore him to his father.
So he's making a play.
Yes, Reuben is making a play, and he's making a play to try and save Joseph.
Yes.
Because there are brothers who really
don't like Joseph.
don't like Joseph. And what brothers are those?
I would be betting Simeon and Levi.
You can bet it's them.
Yeah.
They're the next two oldest.
Yep.
The two angry ones.
The two angry ones, Simeon and Levi.
The ones most willing to shed blood.
Yeah. And then comes the Ishmaelite traders. Mm-hmm. Judah gets the bright idea. You know, what profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our own flesh.
So he's all about the profit.
Judah's interested in making a deal, but it's also in the grand scheme of things. Judah really saved Joseph's life by doing that.
Yeah, he did. What he intended for evil, God intended for good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think he was intending to save. Well, maybe he was. Maybe he. Well, he does mention he is our own flesh and blood. After all, we don't really want to have his blood on our hands.
Let's just make some money off of him.
Yeah. But what he's done, and not only for his own sake, but for his brother's sake, is that he's removed this blood guilt at least one step away from them.
Yeah. If he dies, it's on the slavers or whoever purchases him. I find it interesting that the Ishmaelites are. We know what they had with them. They had camels bearing gum, balm, and myrrh on their way down to Egypt from Gilead.
Israelites heading to Egypt with balm.
Yeah.
That sounds modern.
1973, anyone? Yeah, but I find it interesting in light of the gifts brought to Jesus. Myrrh is also mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, balm and gum are not in the story with Jesus, but I find it interesting that you've got men coming from the east with three things mentioned.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Yeah, that's
No, well, not that here, but
that's in the New Testament. And
these are Ishmaelites.
These are Ishmaelites, men of the
These
east.
are sons of Abraham.
Yeah.
If you read in Isaiah chapter 60, you see the same thing.
Yep.
Those from the tents of Kedar, they're the ones who come bringing.
Let's go there.
Yeah, let's go there and take a look. This is interesting. Isaiah saying, "Arise, shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord has risen upon you." And it talks about how nations are going to come to his light, how the wealth of the nations shall come to him. Listen to this. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camels of Midian and Ephah. Midian is one of Abe's sons with Keturah.
Yep.
All those from Sheba shall come. Sheba's in the list somewhere.
Yep.
Sheba is one of the descendants of Abraham. All the flocks of Kedar.
Yep.
Kedar is one of Ishmael's oldest. Okay? These folk come, and they come with what? I think it says something in here about what they're bringing.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
It talks about
verse 6.
Yeah, gold and frankincense and good news.
They come bringing gold and frankincense. And those are two of the gifts.
Yep.
Right?
They are.
Myrrh was in this other one that we just read.
Yes.
About the Ishmaelites going down to Egypt. And here are these ones that they're all these children of Abraham.
Yeah, and they're all bringing these gifts.
Yeah, and that all seems to get pulled together in the story of the wise men coming and bringing their gifts.
Yeah, so this is a type of a very very little bit of foreshadowing of that thing, which is again interesting. The details. Yes. This is why our overview of Genesis has been a slow review.
Slow overview.
There's so many good details.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So 20 shekels of silver. That's not a lot of silver, by the way.
No, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot. Those boys, they know how to sell a man into slavery, but they do not know how to negotiate a price. Yeah, they really should have got Joseph to negotiate that price for them.
Yeah, they're just selling their best negotiator.
Well, speaking of which, this kind of reminds me of a story about Julius Caesar when he was a young man. He was kidnapped by pirates, and then the pirates, they told him what ransom they were going to demand, and he laughed at them and told them to double the number. Because I'm not worth as little as you think. and then he also came back later and hung said pirates.
Well, that's interesting because if we're looking at typology,
Which
Judas sells Jesus for 30 pieces of silver.
So given inflation, over the intervening years.
But which again is not a very good price.
No, I mean, they bought a field with it.
Yeah.
One field. Small field. It's not much.
Yeah. They could each have a few cups of coffee on that.
Yeah, pretty much. So, at least with modern coffee prices. So now Reuben wasn't there when they sell him.
Right.
And he comes back.
Reuben's out looking after the sheep while they're doing all their dirty deeds in the camp.
Man, these guys are useless.
Pretty much.
Well, they're really evil.
are.
These brothers who are driving this boat, they're bad news.
Yeah, and then he saw he's not in the pit. He tears his clothes, and he's like, he's gone, and where shall I go? Right? Like, he's like,
Yes.
what am I going to do?
What am I going to do? Well, he decides what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's not going to tell the truth. He's going to side with these brothers, and they're going to fabricate this lie that is going to wreak absolute havoc on their family for years to come.
Mm-hmm. The power of a lie to destroy a family.
Yep.
So they take the robe, they dip it in some goat's blood, which I find interesting.
They didn't have DNA testing.
They didn't, but the blood of bulls and goats and sheep. I mean, these are the things. These are the sacrificial animals. They're dipping this robe in goat blood. So I find that interesting.
So he's almost like the
sacrifice.
goat that was sent outside.
He's
the camp.
Azazel.
Yeah.
He's the scapegoat.
He's the scapegoat, as it were.
Exactly. And he really is the scapegoat in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has escaped.
So it's almost like a foretelling of all the stuff in Exodus about the scapegoat as well.
I really think that there's something there. So then they take this back to Jacob, and he identifies the robe, and he immediately jumps to the conclusion that a fierce animal has devoured him.
Yeah.
Joseph is without a doubt torn to pieces. Now, this is a thing that would have happened back in the day. This is not
Would have happened.
an unusual event. It's a sad event, but not an unusual event. So he jumps to the conclusion, and the boys are kind of like, yeah, yep, good one. That's exactly what happened, Dad.
Yeah.
So they're reinforcing his despair by lying.
Yeah. So if you're going to tell your father a lie, and you're going to conspire together with your brothers, and you're all going to maintain this lie, I want you to think about the effect that might have had on the grief that his parents, like Rachel, Jacob, on their grief. Who would they talk to?
Right.
They're not going to have any. Reuben, come and talk to me. Tell me some good story about Joseph. I got something to do.
Right. The guilty conscience.
And none of them will.
Yeah.
They're all sullen about this. You can bet they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The guilty conscience is not a good comforter.
No, and you cannot. You can't come near that story to talk about it without coming near to exposing your lie. Yep. So they would have not been any help.
This is true. And
to Jacob or to Rachel.
One of the best comforts in grief is to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen here.
That's not going to happen here.
No. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. So we get this. Where did Joseph wind up? Well, Dad's grieving bitterly at home.
Yeah.
And Joseph just got sold into the household of one of the chief men in the empire.
Yeah.
The captain of the guard is close to the king.
Yeah.
He's in charge of the special
prisoners.
forces.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the king's prison.
Yeah.
This would be like the Egyptian version of special forces.
Yeah.
He's the captain of the king's guard. So when the king goes out to battle, it's his guard that surround him.
Yeah.
It's his most trusted fellows.
Yeah.
And the chief of the guard is
Potiphar.
Potiphar.
Yeah.
So that's where this guy winds up.
Yeah.
So then, not a bad spot, maybe.
Do you see a man who's good at what he does? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men.
Yes. I wonder if Solomon wasn't thinking about this.
I wonder if he wasn't either.
Now, think about it also. Every time I've considered the Joseph story, and we'll get more to this as we move through, I see Genesis 37 to 50 as a great case study in counseling. So look at the amount of trauma that Joseph goes through.
Yeah.
Think about how modern people use that word trauma. And as we're walking through this, think about how Joseph handles his trauma.
Yeah.
I think this is very important for everyone who's struggles with evil things in this life. So,
Yeah, his example, I think, is one to be imitated.
yeah, I think it's a very powerful example.
See, Joseph really does seem to have faith in God.
Yes.
You know, there's nowhere in the entire narrative from 37 to 50 that takes up Joseph's story. There's nowhere where God talks to him.
It's true.
Doesn't happen even once.
Yet he's got so much faith.
Yet he's got so much faith, and it's deep and it's wide. And he casts himself on the Lord when he's thrown into prison,
Yep.
and the Lord blesses him in that place where he's suffering that which his brothers should be suffering,
Right. And would have broken them.
which is a Christ thing,
Yep.
right? He's there because of the brothers' animosity.
He goes as a sheep to the slaughter without uttering a word.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Now, before we get to the rest of the Joseph story,
Yes.
we have the sudden chapter 38.
38
This-
that deals with Judah.
What
Now,
is up with Judah?
well, what's up with Judah? Judah, of course, is
Real
the
player.
is the one through whom Christ comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, for all the glory that surrounds Joseph, Joseph is not in the line of Christ.
This is true.
Judah is.
Yeah, Judah is the one from whom the ruler comes. So Joseph's being a ruler is a more temporary thing.
Yeah.
But Judah, to him belongs the promise.
Okay, so now let's look at the timing of this. Right in the first part of 38, it happened at that time. At what time?
That time.
At the time that Joseph was carried off into Egypt. At that time, Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adulamite whose name was Hira. Judah sees this girl that he likes. He marries her, has a son, has another son, has a third son.
And he's living.
So Judah is living not with them. Judah is living away from them.
Yeah. It says that he's living in Chezib.
Yeah.
Yes, he's living over here.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of interesting things about the psychology of what's going on here. The brothers have compacted together to tell this damned lie to their dad and to the world. Some people can carry that easily. Other people can't. I bet Judah's one of those who can't.
Yeah, he leaves right away.
He leaves right away. He knows this is no place to be. I will not be able to keep this compact with these brothers if I'm here, and it's just going to be miserable. And so he up and leaves, and he apostatizes, practically speaking.
Yep.
He leaves the faith. He leaves the people of faith, leaves them behind, goes and marries a Canaanite. But it seems to me like he's apostatizing in order to get away from all the family drama.
Yeah, and the Lord doesn't just leave him alone.
The Lord doesn't leave him alone.
Judah's got some family drama of his own now.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lord gives him a whole bunch of family drama. But what's interesting to me is that it's apart from what happened in 34.
Yep.
He's not present
He's gone.
when they do their dirty deed at Shechem. He's gone. So he's not part of that crowd that was doing evil.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of time between verse 5 and verse 6.
Yes, there is.
So, because it says that in verse 5 that his wife bore another son, and she called his name Shelah, and Judah was in Chezib when she bore him. And then verse 6, and Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar.
Right.
But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. So, is an older son.
Yeah.
He's not a baby in verse 6.
Right.
So there's significant time Judah is gone
Yeah.
from his family.
Yeah.
And his son turns out to be wicked.
Yeah.
And the Lord's like, I'm going to kill that guy.
Yeah.
So he does.
And he does the same with the second.
Onan. So Onan was told by Judah, perform the levirate duty
Yeah.
of a brother-in-law to her and raise up offspring for
He's
your
like,
brother.
"Nah, forget that.
Onan
Was a rotten big brother. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
So
do anything on his behalf.
Onan knows that if Tamar bears him any sons,
Right.
that Er's inheritance will go to them.
Yeah.
So Onan wants the money. He's a lot like his dad. His dad's like, hey, let's sell our brother for money. Onan's like, hey, I'm going to deal underhandedly with my dead brother so that I can have all the inheritance.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
I
think
but
that's
his.
But he does act wickedly, right?
He acts wickedly in this too, in that he's not willing to raise up a son
For his dead
in
brother.
honor of his dead brother. Mm-hmm. I don't think it would be all
No, but
in the older
majority.
brothers, but the oldest it would.
Yeah, the majority of the inheritance would.
Well, I would think that the oldest brother of the relationship between Onan and Tamar,
Yes.
the oldest son of that would have been named
Yes.
or whatever, something along those lines. But the rest of children that would come along later,
Yeah.
that would be Onan's
Yeah,
children.
I believe that's
Right?
how levirate marriage works. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too.
So,
But he was unwilling to do this, and the Lord said,
put you to death.
put him to death too.
Yeah. So now we've got 2 dead sons, and Judah's like, ugh, 2 out of the 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Okay, so he's got 2 dead sons here. There's another death that happened in here first. Where is it? His wife dies somewhere in here.
verse 12.
Okay. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. So Judah has lost his oldest son. Mm-hmm. He's lost his second son.
And he's
Lost his wife.
He's got 1 son left.
He has also lost his mother.
Yes.
Because Leah would have had to have died sometime around then,
Yeah.
or just a little bit earlier. Yeah. Judah's got a whole bunch of losses of people close to him.
Yep, he does. So now he says to his daughter-in-law, Tamar, remain a widow in your father's house until Shelah, my son, grows up.
Right.
So he's a bit younger yet.
He's
not
a bit younger. I don't think he's a whole lot younger.
No, I mean,
there's only a certain number of years that you can fit
yeah, all
in
the same
between Joseph being sold into Egypt and the brothers going down to Egypt.
Right. Yeah.
I remember working out the timeline on it, and it does work, but just barely.
It is a tight timeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's being told remain a widow and wait for the youngest for a number of years, not too many years, but a number.
Yeah.
So she does that. So Judah's wife dies, and then he goes up to Timnah. So he has sheep shears in Timnah. He and his friend Hira the Adullamite, so his father-in-law. Mm-hmm. So Timnah. What else is in Timnah?
Going down to Timnah, following the Lord.
Samson.
Samson. That's a Samson story.
Samson has some lady troubles as well. So he goes.
What's up with Timnah?
What is with Timnah? Timnah is near Ekron. It's one of the little towns around or near Ekron. Now, Tamar is told your father-in-law, Judah, is going up to Timnah. So he's going up to Timnah. He's not going down to Timnah.
Yeah.
Samson went down because he comes from the hill country.
Right.
Judah's coming from Canaanite country going up.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not with his family.
Yeah.
He's going the wrong direction for that. Your father-in-law is going to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she takes off her widow's garments, covers herself with a veil, sits at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown up and she had not been given to him in marriage.
Uh-huh.
So Judah, he's not keeping his word.
Judah is not keeping his word. He's probably thinking of this girl while she's a death trap for boys.
Yeah, she's killed 2 of them. It could be that Judah did not understand that it was the Lord that had done this. It could be that. I'm not sure. It doesn't say. But he's definitely not keeping his word.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now Tamar, she takes matters into her own hands. So she basically dresses up like a cult prostitute, sits on the road, and waits for him. Because
And he's vulnerable to such things.
she knows that. Yeah, she knows he's vulnerable to sexual temptation.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Because it seems to me that it's not, that you can't do that without sinning,
yes.
right? If you're Tamar, how do you do that without sinning? I don't know how to do that without sinning. That looks like sin to me.
It does, yeah. Judah comes out really badly in this story.
And Judah comes out, yeah, he does. It's not good for him. But lo and behold, when you get to the end of the story, where all the drama goes on about her being dragged before Judah,
Yes.
and he says, "Well, she should be put to death." Well, I wonder if he had the authority to say that, maybe, but. And she brings out his staff and cord and says,
pledge.
"Well, this is the guy who got me pregnant." Was and Judah's going,
Oh, that was me.
"She is more righteous than I."
That's a low bar, Judah. That's a low bar.
You know, I'm thinking about Judah, because Judah is he's a long-term prize for the kingdom of God that took a while to bring in, to reel in. It seemed like this.
Yeah.
Because Judah goes from a young man who sells Joseph into Egypt. That's his idea. To a middle-aged man who's willing to sacrifice himself for his youngest brother Benjamin and to take his place.
Yeah.
I think this was almost his conversion moment.
Yeah.
His wake-up call.
Yeah.
This could,
I think so
is
too.
Sleeping with his daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
yeah. That very well could.
That, what a mess I'm in.
Oh yeah, and it's a disaster. Yeah. So he, and the thing is too, she operates on credit.
How do you mean?
He doesn't have cash, so
Right.
she takes a pledge. That's credit.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who are interested in the financial history of the Near Ancient East, or the Ancient Near East, what you have here is a credit transaction. But anyway, getting back to the actual story. So he sends the payment by his friend the Adulamite.
Right?
That's his father-in-law.
Yeah.
That's his father-in-law.
Yeah.
His dead wife's dad. He's like, hey, I was with a prostitute. Here's the payment. And go get the pledge back from her. What's wrong with these people?
It's Canaanite culture.
It is Canaanite culture. So then the guy's like, I can't find her.
Right.
And the men who live there are like, well, there's no cult prostitute here.
Yeah.
We don't know what you're talking about. And now Judah's probably just like, I don't know what happened. And then 3 months later, your daughter-in-law has been immoral. That's what he's told.
Right.
So she's pregnant.
They want to burn her.
Yeah. He's like, and Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. And she
Right.
was brought out. And then she sent word to him, by the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. And then she brings out the signet and the cord and the staff.
She knew what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
She
I'm
planned
sure
this.
she did.
She was like, ah, ha, 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 I got you. So then, and it says that, and he did not know her again. So he was
Yes.
like, oh, okay.
Now, we're told what God's interest was and what God's delight is in with the children that she bears.
Right.
These twins.
Perez and Zerah.
Another wrestling situation.
Another wrestling situation where God picks the second over the first
Yes.
again.
Well, the one's hand came out, and then he pulls back his hand, and the other pops out.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a crazy, like,
It's a crazy story.
Yes. So in the story here, we're tied up in knots over all the sin that's going on in
It's
here,
crazy.
and God isn't.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
He's
playing
not.
he's playing a long game.
He's playing a long game that has to do with these children, because one of these children is going to be the progenitor
Yep.
of the Lord Jesus coming into the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, the DNA, his sinful DNA is in Christ.
Yep.
Except it's not sinful in Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which that's just a remarkable thing. Now, when you look at chapter 38, and you've got Judah just making a mess of things, the very next chapter is Joseph and Potiphar's wife,
Yes.
where Joseph has equal opportunity as his brother to sin.
Oh, yeah.
And
Even
doesn't.
more.
Yeah, even more, really, and doesn't.
Yeah, so Joseph, I think a lot of Proverbs is written with Joseph and Judah in mind.
Yeah.
Yes. And these stories are set right next to each other
Yeah.
so that we can read them together.
By the way, every young boy who's entering into the 12, 13 age must know the stories of Joseph.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true.
These are good stories for young men. So Joseph had been brought down to Egypt,
Yeah.
and Potiphar, an officer of Egypt, the captain of the guard, an Egyptian, had bought him from the Ishmaelites who had brought him down there. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man.
The Lord was with Joseph, the slave, and he became a successful man.
The ruler is always coming out throughout his entire imprisonment.
Yes, which tells me that it was there before.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, when he was a boy, I'm sure he showed a great deal of leadership capability to his father.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's why his father exalted him like he did, is because this guy knows how to run things.
Yep.
And blessing happens when he does.
And it's interesting, too, that Potiphar, it says in verse 3 that his master saw that the Lord was with him. It's not just that Potiphar saw that Joseph was competent.
Right.
He saw that there was something more to that competence.
Yeah, there's something to that competence,
Yeah.
and it has to do with Israel's God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joseph, he's on the up and up. He's on the make. He's finding favor in Potiphar's sight. He's made an overseer of his house and put him in charge of all that he had. And from the time that he did that, it says that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And now that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know, he saw that the Lord was with him, but I doubt he recognized who was the Lord.
Yeah.
He puts Joseph in charge because he sees that, man, there's something really good going on here when this guy's in charge.
Yeah.
And things happen good here. Did he bow the knee to Joseph's God?
I don't know.
It doesn't appear so yet.
Yeah.
But there's something about Joseph in prison in Egypt where God is stirring things greatly in Egypt. Because remember how ready they were to go with Joseph and his God when he comes up to Pharaoh.
Yep.
You know, that kind of stuff. God always works in ways that we can't see. There's always things going on in God's economy where he's working behind the scenes to bring about a situation where all Egypt's going to listen and they're going to hear it and they're going to say, "Oh, that's the best idea we've ever heard."
He's preparing the ground.
He's preparing the ground, and he's doing that with Potiphar here.
And I find it also interesting that a slave is the direct cause of the blessing.
Right?
One of the things, if you read ancient literature about slaves, they consistently complain that slaves are lazy,
Right?
slaves are fat,
Yeah.
slaves don't work, slaves are terrible.
Yeah,
you got to beat them, or you got to bribe them, or you got to or sell them. I mean,
Right.
So the slaves don't come off in the ancient literature very well.
Right, because if you're a slave, you don't have a whole lot of motivation to work except for
Avoiding punishment.
avoiding punishment.
Yeah,
right?
or maybe if, let's say I'm addicted to wine and the master's like, hey, if you do this, I'll give you another jug of wine.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right, to satisfy your impulses or your lusts.
Yes. And,
Maybe.
And that kind of bribery is something in, I was reading, I think it might have been a treatise by Cicero on slavery, and he talks about that.
Okay.
I think. I don't quote me on it, but Yeah,
Yeah, so Joseph then is a very, very unusual slave.
very. Like, this is so far radically different from what Potiphar would have had from any of his other slaves.
Yeah, a slave who is not only competent, but trustworthy.
Yep.
I can put things in his hand, and I know things are going to work well if I put things in this guy's hand.
Yeah, and things do work well. It says that Potiphar, like his house is just blessed.
Yeah.
By,
He says
by the Lord.
he doesn't concern himself with anything except for the food that he ate. Doesn't it say that?
Yep. He had no concern about anything but the food he ate. So Potiphar would come home and be like, "Where's my dinner?" And Joseph would be like, "Here's your dinner." And oh, excellent. There's my dinner. So he withholds his wife from Joseph, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which a man should.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
Now, Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. Kind of reminds me of David being ruddy.
Yeah.
You know, he looks good.
Yeah.
And then after a time, so a while goes by, and then Potiphar's wife, who's not named, it's
Right.
just his master's wife or Potiphar's wife,
Yeah.
she casts her eyes on Joseph and says, "Lie with me." So, Joseph's this good-looking guy. He's competent. He's trusted.
He's in the house.
He's in the house all the time.
And women want to sleep with power.
Yeah, she's like, "That's powerful. That's strong. I want that." Now, you got to, in Potiphar's shoes, I'm sitting there thinking, judging from his responses to the accusations she makes,
Right.
I got to be thinking that Potiphar knows his wife
Yeah, I think so.
is a loose
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. He trusts Joseph more than he trusts his own wife.
I think that's true.
So, but Joseph, he refuses.
Right.
He says, "Behold, because of me, my master has no concern about anything in the house and put me in charge of everything. He is not greater in this house than I am." That's a remarkable thing for a slave to say.
Yeah.
But he's not lying. He says, "Nor has he kept back anything from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?"
Yeah.
Like, he's not just sinning against Potiphar. If he does this, he's sinning against God.
Yeah. And that's his deep motivation.
Yes.
He does not want to high-handedly sin against God.
Yeah, and so he's the counterpoint to Judah in the previous story.
Yeah.
Very much so. And she continues to tempt him.
Yeah.
Like, and she's, temptation is like that.
Yeah.
It's not just one and done. So she goes after him. She spoke to him day after day, and he would not listen.
Oh, so that went on for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Day after day. But one day, when he went into the house to do his work, and none of the men were in the house, none of the men of the house were in the house. So I'm looking at this kind of with a little bit of a squinty eye. I think maybe she arranged that.
Yeah. Could be. Because she's really trying to arrange this whole thing.
Exactly. So
It has been all along.
so she's maybe thinking, well, he's worried that someone would see. So she was pretty overt in her advances previously.
Right.
Now she's like, witnesses are out of the way. We can do this. And Joseph, what does he do? Oh, he left his garment in her hand. So she grabbed him by the coat.
Yeah.
And he ran. He fled out of the house.
So you see the difference again between Judah
Yeah.
and Joseph is Judah, she doesn't even have her hands on his cloak.
Yeah. But she
He runs towards it, and Joseph runs away from it.
Yeah.
And in both cases, some identifying garment is left behind,
Right.
which causes Joseph some trouble. As soon as he runs out, she calls the men back into the house, and she actually accuses her husband.
Yeah.
This
slave he brought to me. It's just like Adam in the garden.
Yes, he has brought among us a Hebrew to laugh at us. Oh, very interesting. So she's lying, but she's blaming her husband
Yeah.
in front of the other slaves of the house.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Wild dynamic. So
But sin is weird.
sin is not rational.
When she's, you mentioned earlier, Nathan, about women wanting to sleep with power. Potiphar is right next to Pharaoh.
Yeah.
He's right up there.
Yeah.
Is that not power?
Yeah. Is that not
yeah.
enough?
But is that not enough? Well, yeah, apparently that's not enough.
Yeah. So she's got his garment until Potiphar comes home. And
Right.
she told the same story. The Hebrew servant whom you have brought among us.
Yes.
Whom you, yeah. And then she tells this lie about how he tried to molest her. And then as soon as Potiphar hears this, his anger was kindled. Okay, so he gets angry,
Yes.
as a man should do if his wife is assaulted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he takes and puts him in the prison.
Where the king's prisoners are held.
Now, who's in charge of the prison?
Potiphar is.
Potiphar is. So he puts him in his own prison.
Now,
Why?
if you are a run of the mill slave and you assault the master's wife, you're not going to live out the day.
No, you're dying.
You're dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
why is Potiphar doing this?
Well, Potiphar's doing this because Potiphar knows Joseph
yeah. And he knows his wife.
and he knows his wife, and her story and his story don't add up.
And it's
So you see that that men can also be victims of crimes
Yeah.
it's true.
from women.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, I find verse 22 very interesting. It says, the keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge. Again, who's the keeper of this prison?
Potiphar is the keeper of this prison.
Yeah.
And he put Joseph in charge because he knew what happens when you put Joseph in charge.
Like,
Things go well.
and guess what? The keeper of the prison paid no attention to anything that was in Joseph's charge. Again, because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it succeed.
Okay.
So he basically just separates his wife from Joseph
Yeah.
and puts Joseph in charge of something.
So no matter where Joseph is,
Yeah.
he's always being blessed.
Yeah,
He's
he's-
kind of like that canary in the coal mine,
Yeah.
except it's no longer a coal mine.
Yeah. Or, yeah. He's just rising
Yeah.
to the occasion in every occasion.
It becomes
Yes.
a place of blessing.
Yeah.
Right. So Potiphar saw all the good that Joseph did to his household. Now it's moved from household to conglomerate.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of people.
It's
in
not
that
just
prison.
the household anymore. It's all the prisoners.
And it has to do with the king. So it's one step closer to the king. It's the king's prisoners.
Yep.
Now, he puts Joseph in charge of this because he knows implicitly, it seems, that Joseph is capable and will do a way better job than I would
Yep.
at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the business about him being angry and throwing Joseph into prison, I really don't think it was anger on behalf of his wife.
Yeah. If he
I
had
think
been, he would
his
have killed him.
anger. Yeah, I think he probably had a good bit towards her.
Yeah. You try. Potiphar, I believe, was reading between the lines.
Yeah.
And I can imagine a conversation between him and his wife. You mean to tell me that you tried to entice this man and he said no? Is that what you mean to tell me? Because that's what I'm reading here.
Yeah.
Stupid. What's wrong with you? Yeah. So and then we get to chapter 40 and Joseph in jail. Now we're
Yeah.
about an hour into this. Should we leave this off for later or carry on? Because we've got the interpretation of dreams in 40 and 41, which leads up to Joseph's rise to power. Should we finish all that?
Well, yeah, let's finish that.
Okay, let's
let's
finish
work that stuff out.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we do that.
All right. So we
Yeah.
got the cupbearer and the chief baker.
Ah, yes. The king. These are guys who are they see the king every day. Mm-hmm. The baker who bakes delicacies for the king, and the cupbearer who
Hands the king his cup
hands the king his cup.
full of wine.
Taste the wine first in case somebody poisoned it. Well, that'll be my neck instead of yours, O king.
Yep. But he has the ear of the king.
Yeah, two guys with the ear of the king, whom the king is angry with, and he puts them in prison. He's discerned that one of these two guys has done some wicked deed,
Yeah.
and so he tosses them both into prison.
It's probable that they were political rivals.
Traitors or
Well, they were probably at odds with each other, and one of them, as you said, one of them loses his head. So
Right.
it's likely that he was guilty of some crime.
Right.
The king just hasn't uncovered what yet.
Right.
But these two guys are both thrown in jail. So
Yes. Now, as we get into this, I'm thinking of something along the lines of dreams. And well, first of all, Joseph is a dreamer, but then he's an interpreter of dreams. Dreams are kind of like riddles. Would you say that? And it seems that throughout Scripture, like Solomon, he's able to interpret riddles. Daniel is able to interpret dreams, and there's something very kingly about that act.
About being able to interpret a dream.
Yeah, a dream or a riddle, or
Yeah, interesting.
I think there's something to that. And he's very good, and it's interesting too because he says something about interpretation in chapter 40. In verse 8, it said that he saw that these two men had downcast faces.
Right.
Right? They're looking sad.
Yeah.
Or terrified, and they both say to him, "We have had dreams, and there's no one to interpret them." It's weird to me that
I wonder if they had people to interpret them.
they did.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they had all sorts of men.
So they would have dreams in their regular everyday service.
Yeah.
And they could go and ask one of the king's interpreters somewhere.
I find
And here they were in prison where there wasn't such a thing.
we have textual references to this.
Okay.
At least maybe not Egyptian references, but Babylonian references.
With Daniel.
No, I mean extra biblical.
Oh, I see.
We have, because the Babylonians like to write in clay tablets.
Right.
They would write cuneiform. Now, when you sack a city and you burn the library, that preserves all your library.
Right.
Handy.
Right.
So
I guess, right, because you fire all that,
you fire all your bricks.
all your bricks.
So we have dug up textbooks that the Babylonians had written up for training magicians and soothsayers in how to do this. They actually you could go get a PhD
And how to interpret dreams.
in how to,
Interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting. I've looked into it a bit because it's weird, and we do run across this in the Bible, like in this chapter. So the Egyptians, Moses is described to us as having been trained in all the wisdom of Egypt.
Yeah.
Part of the education that you would receive in the ancient world as an educated man would have been in some of this theory, at any rate. So whether or not it's accurate dream reading, whether or not it's godly
Right.
or demonic,
Right.
or just, like what we would think of as being like the modern zodiac stuff,
Yeah.
If you're one of these zodiac signs, then you have a hot temper or something stupid like that.
Right.
Whatever the case may be, they did stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder about this with Joseph interpreting their dreams. If they've had dream interpreters deal with them before, it just seems to me that their dreams both make really quite good sense to think that. And why didn't they think that up themselves?
Yeah, because of something Joseph says. He says, do not interpretations belong to God.
That's why.
Yeah, and that's why, there's something hidden there
Yes.
from them. And so the chief cupbearer tells his dream.
Yeah.
And
Secret things belong to God, but it is the glory of kings to seek them out.
so the cupbearer...
It was kind of a neat mishmash.
That was. I like
Yeah.
that. That was Proverbs and Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
Just kind of...
All rolled into one.
I like that. I saw what you did there.
I did kind of put them together.
I saw what you did there. That is called a synthesis. So the chief cupbearer has this dream about a vine. It had 3 branches. It blossoms. It ripens grapes. So he takes the grapes, pressed them into the cup, placed it in the Pharaoh's hand.
That's a nice dream.
It is. And Joseph's like, these 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head. That's a great line. He will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you shall, place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as formerly. And then Joseph's like, just remember me
Yeah.
when this goes well for you in 3 days. Remember me.
Remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know.
Who
Maybe
said
not.
that on the cross? Yeah. Oh, yeah. A thief. A thief on a cross. So very interesting. But, and 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3
3
days.
days is important.
3. This is one of those 3-day things.
Yeah.
And then you got the other guy,
The baker.
the baker.
The baker heard the interpretation and saw that it was favorable.
Yes.
Oh, wow, good. Well, he gives favorable interpretations. Let me try him.
But this dream, he's got a 3 cake baskets on my head. First off, this is talent. If you can put 3 baskets full of cake on your head, you're doing pretty
And not
good.
drop
That's
them.
pretty good.
So in the uppermost basket were all sorts of baked food, but the birds were eating out of the basket of my head. And Joseph answered, "This is its interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head
So far, so good.
from you
From you.
No longer
good.
good.
and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat the flesh from you." Oh, not good. And on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he made a feast for all his servants and lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer, and he hanged the chief baker, just as Joseph had interpreted.
But the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. What?
Yeah.
What a bum.
What a dirty
And
rodder.
Solomon writes about how, like a, what does he say? Like a wounded foot or something like that is you send a messenger
And he forgets.
And he forgets.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something like that.
Solomon spent a lot of time reading.
We're just like on fire with Proverbs as we're going through here.
Well, I think
One would
it's-
think that the biblical authors were inspired by the same spirit.
one would, yes. So 2 whole years later,
2 years. I bet that was the hardest 2 years of Joseph's life.
oh, probably.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Here's a ticket out. Excellent. I don't deserve to be here. I need to be out of here. And the guy forgets. The messenger you send forgot.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh,
That's the
trying
worst.
to forgive that guy was probably even worse than trying to forgive his brothers.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. So he forgets. Now Pharaoh has a dream. So now we're moving much closer to the center of power.
Yeah.
Pharaoh has a dream that he's standing in the Nile. Now, at various points during Egyptian history, the Nile is deified,
Yes.
and so is Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So he's standing in the Nile. And behold, there come up out of the Nile 7 cows, attractive and plump.
Nice fat cows.
Nice fat cows. Anybody that's ever had cows likes fat cows. They came out and they're feeding. And then 7 other cows, ugly and thin. Nobody likes an ugly cow. Came up out of the Nile and they stood by the other cows. And then they ate the 7 attractive fat cows. And then Pharaoh woke up. I would wake up at this point too.
Toothy cows.
It's like, I don't want cows eating cows. I don't. No.
Andrew Peterson has those kind of wildlife in some of his stories. He calls them toothy cows.
Yeah. So now the problem for Pharaoh is that he fell asleep again. It says, and he fell asleep and dreamed a second time. So this is all happening in one night.
Yes.
And behold, 7 ears of grain, plump and good. Right? Everybody likes a good plump grain. And they're growing on one stalk. So
On
this
one stalk.
Yeah.
So 1 stalk and 7
7 ears.
heads
This is
of grain.
this is not your normal barley
No,
wheat or
that's
spelt.
like 7 times what's normal
Yeah.
in terms of its goodness.
Yeah, you usually get 1 ear per stalk. So this is really good. And then after them sprouted 7 ears, thin and blighted by the east wind. Okay, so now the thin ears swallow up the plump ears.
I guess that'd probably be corn, wouldn't it?
Well,
Because you can
no.
grow more than 1 stalk, one.
No, it wouldn't be
thing
corn.
on-
Modern corn didn't exist until very recently.
Okay, but don't they grow in that fashion?
Somewhat. Modern corn is basically line bred barley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So this would be, 3,500 years ago.
Right.
So they wouldn't have had what we call corn, or even what the natives would have called maize. So it would be,
Okay.
some.
All right.
form of-
I'm just trying to think through that image.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
The image is
In
pretty
his
wild.
dream of 7 stalks on one, or
one-
7 heads on one stalk.
Yeah, it's an unusual image.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have 1 on each. So then he wakes up again. Now you've got grain eating grain. First you got cows eating cows, and now you got grain eating grain.
Very strange.
Very strange. So he wakes up, and he was troubled in the morning. He was very troubled.
And he calls his interpreters in.
He calls all the magicians of Egypt, all the wise men, and he's like, okay, here's my dream. Tell me what it means.
And they're dumb.
And they have no idea.
They don't know.
No idea.
They can't.
I shouldn't say they're dumb. They don't have insight.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't have the Spirit of the Lord teaching them, because interpretations, as Joseph says, come from the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Lord is not whispering in their ears.
And they're consulting their books and their training manuals, and there's nothing in there about fat cows. They don't understand fat cows.
Yeah, this is an image they've not run across before.
Yeah, they don't know it. And then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, so he's in the room, as the chief cupbearer should be, and he said, hey, I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah. The way that the Lord is prepping these people, that was probably an oh no
Yes.
moment
Definitely.
when the interpreters couldn't interpret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that was an oh no moment, and it was not just an oh no moment in the palace.
Yeah.
God was bringing about that kind of oh no.
Yeah. It's a national disaster.
In all Egypt.
Yeah.
He's bringing this about.
And when all of your chief magicians and all of your wise men can't figure this out, like this is a disaster or a potential disaster for the king.
Right.
One of the things I find interesting about the cupbearer, though, he's like, when he says, hey, I know a guy, he starts off by reminding Pharaoh, remember 2 years ago when I really grievously offended you? This is not a good way to start.
I remember my sins. He
Yes,
says.
I remember my sins. So you remember when you tossed me in jail? Uh-huh. Because I did that thing or was involved in that thing. Uh-huh. There's a guy in that jail who interpreted my dream that resulted in
exactly what he said.
exactly what he said would happen. So you could maybe talk to him. And Pharaoh's like, oh, bring him out. So they quickly brought him out of the pit.
And showered him.
And
Probably shaved him.
And when he shaved himself and changed his clothes. So they're like, this guy looks a bit rough. We got to scrub this guy up a bit. So he gets a suit, he gets a shave, maybe a shower. And then Pharaoh says to Joseph, I have a dream and there's no one who can interpret it. I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. And what does Joseph say?
It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer.
Interesting.
So
God will.
Yes.
He's evangelizing Pharaoh.
He is.
Yes. God will.
Yes.
Pharaoh, haven't you designated that title to yourself
Uh-huh.
or to the Nile or
To your cow.
yeah.
I mean, they had cow gods.
So that was probably a
rebuke.
rebuke. It's certainly a revelation
Yeah.
Yeah.
to Pharaoh.
It is.
God will give you a favorable answer. God.
Yes.
There is you're saying there's something that's not me, that's God.
Yeah. And it's not my cattle. It's not my... I mean,
Okay,
the
go
Egyptians
ahead.
had cattle gods. They had grain
Right.
gods. They had the Nile god. They had all sorts of gods.
Right?
It's not those. It's the God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Pharaoh tells him his dream. And then Joseph says
Tells them both dreams.
Yeah, but he tells them both. And he says, the dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. And then the 7 good cows are 7 good years. The 7 good ears are 7 good years. The dreams are one. The 7 lean and ugly cows and the 7 empty ears, blighted by the east wind, are also 7 years of famine. It is as I told Pharaoh, God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. So then you're going to have 7 years of plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and then after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be bad. The famine will consume the land, and plenty will be unknown in the land by reason of the famine that will follow, for it will be very severe. The doubling of Pharaoh's dream means the thing is fixed by God, and God will shortly bring it about. It's a doubling. It's 2 or 3 witnesses.
It's 2 witnesses there. Yeah.
Which I find very interesting in light of what God says in the law about witnesses.
Yeah.
That on the evidence or testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses shall a matter be established.
The two witnesses were the dreams, and the third was Joseph.
Yes. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh select a discerning man to figure this out.
Right.
Yeah.
And Joseph comes not just with interpretation; he comes with plans.
He does.
Yep.
He's like, hey, we gotta have overseers. We gotta have an infrastructure. We gotta save for that time of.
He's a wise king like Solomon.
Yes. He immediately comes with a plan.
And you look at verse 38, and Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find a man like this in whom is the Spirit of God?"
And they're all standing there like, it wasn't me. You drug a guy out of jail and he did what I couldn't do. Correct.
Yeah, so this is just an amazing transformation.
Mm-hmm.
An amazing transformation. God's desire from the beginning of Genesis, from the fall, when man is separated from God, God is seeking for a way to bring not just a people back, but the nations back. He wants them all.
He wants to redeem the world.
He wants to redeem the world. And this is a picture of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's the gospel brought to Egypt, and Egypt willingly and happily receives it.
Yeah, so you see an example of the work of the Holy Spirit
Yeah.
here in forming a new creation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Pharaoh puts Joseph in a similar spot that Potiphar had.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Second only to me.
Yeah. Only he says, here's a wife. Have this girl.
Yeah, so he gives him a
Don't
wife.
come after mine.
I wonder if there was a smirk in Pharaoh's face.
Yes, I wonder. Because I bet you can bet he'd heard that story.
Potiphar was likely in the room.
Well, I suspect he'd probably probably wasn't the first time he'd heard of Joseph,
Probably not.
because Potiphar was in his council all this time, and if things are going really well in Potiphar's house, maybe one day Pharaoh asked Potiphar how things are going. He says, "Oh man, it's just great. Yeah, I got this guy."
Yeah. I know this guy. Yeah, so he does. He gives him a wife and he gives him a job.
Yeah,
And then
And a
he
new name.
bears two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Yep.
And what's fascinating there is there's this repetition of remembering and forgetting. Is the cupbearer forgets him and then remembers his sin and then remembers Joseph.
yeah,
And then here in verse 51, God, he calls the firstborn Manasseh because God has made me forget all my hardship and all my father's house. Just a random.
It's funny because he mentions his
Observation.
father's house, but he hasn't actually forgotten it.
Yeah, that's right.
he hasn't actually forgotten it.
But he's forgotten the trouble of his father's house.
He's no longer pierced through with grief as a result of it, maybe.
Right.
He has his own house. Now, verse 46, it says that Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh.
Yes.
What else happens at the age of 30?
Become a priest
Yeah.
in Israel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus starts his ministry.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to point out is verse 49, and Joseph stored up grain in great abundance like the sand of the sea. So all of a sudden, you
ceased to
see
measure it.
the answer of the blessing to Abraham
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
The sand
This is
of the sea.
repeated so often throughout the Old Testament.
Yes. And it's
So there's something about the Joseph story that we are supposed to be able to look at that and to see God's intention for the world.
Yeah.
That God intends to win the world. It's his desire. It's his plan to win the world, that all these, like the sand of the seashore, are going to be gathered to worship the Lord. We see that as God's intention because we see it in this story that's foreshadowing what's supposed to be coming.
Yep. And,
Okay.
and then later, when Israel leaves Egypt, they take a lot of Egyptians with them.
Yes, they do. Yeah, there's a great mixed multitude goes with them.
Yeah.
Big
So
crowd.
So we've got we finish off chapter 41 with Joseph storing up all this grain.
Yeah.
The famine comes.
Let's pick that up next time around. I think that'll be our lead in
into
to the
42.
remainder of
yeah,
Genesis.
I think that makes
I
sense.
think we
too.
can we can almost safely make it through next time.
Ooh,
Maybe.
I like ambition. I like ambition.
You're an ambitious man.
Yes.
Is there? Yeah. There's
Okay.
a lot more
Well,
content.
we are the Chinook podcast. We have been here. We've been discussing our way through the book of Genesis. There's so much excellent food in here. And not only excellent just in terms of its stories, but in terms of application for us. There is lots of it. There is so much in here that is pointing out the Messiah to come and who Jesus is and who Jesus is going to be and what he's going to do and how he's going to operate. All these kind of things like this are foreshadowed for us in the book of Genesis, and it's really worth a deep dive. And so we're thankful to be able to do this with you folks. We ask the Lord's blessing upon you. We want for you to be delighted in the Word of God, and that you would pursue the knowledge of God in the book of Genesis and in the rest of Scripture too. Lord willing, we'll get there one day. All right, blessings to you all.